In the 43rd year of Emperor Wu's reign, within the lacquered silence of the Weiyang Palace, a man kneels on cold, jade-veined marble. The air is thick with sandalwood and political weight. Chen Bao, decorated envoy, survivor of 3 frontier campaigns, receives the imperial commission, a cylinder of bamboo bound in vermilion silk, pressed with the dragon seal of the Son of Heaven. The emperor speaks. Zhang Qian's name hangs in the chamber like smoke, a reminder that great men have crossed the Jade Gate before and returned with nothing but scars. But the Xiongnu grow bolder with each passing season. The Western alliances cannot wait. Chen Bao rises, the commission cradled against his chest like something sacred and fragile. He does not yet know how prophetic that fragility will prove. The Jade Gate rises at the edge of everything known, a narrow throat of rammed earth and weathered timber through which the Han world exhales its most desperate ambitions. It is the last breath of civilization, and Chen Bao pauses within its shadow. Behind him, Chang'an glitters with lacquered rooftops and the smoke of 10,000 hearths. Before him, nothing. Only the Taklamakan's white silence and a sky too vast to name. He turns once. The young scribe stands rigid among the garrison soldiers, knuckles pale around a bamboo scroll. Chen's gaze holds for a moment, a father's farewell compressed into silence. Then he faces west. The camels groan forward, silk bales swaying like the breath of sleeping gods. The gate swallows him whole. And somewhere beyond the dunes, his interpreter is already making his own arrangements. The desert offers no shade for secrets. At a crumbling way station east of the Jade Gate, where the wind carries the iron smell of distant storms, Chen Bao rests beneath a torn awning, but does not sleep. Across the firelight, his interpreter Mao Liang crouches in conversation with a figure who does not belong to their party. The exchange is brief. The stranger's braided hair and felt boots mark him unmistakably. Chen says nothing. He sips his tea. He watches the steam dissolve into the darkening air. But something fundamental has shifted, quiet as sand, filling a footprint. He studies Mao Liang's returning smile, easy, practiced, unremarkable, and understands now that a smile can be a blade worn against the chest. The imperial edicts, still sealed within their lacquered case, have never felt heavier. The red sands of the Taklamakan offer no mercy and no secrets. On the 3rd day beyond the Jade Gate, Mao Liang vanishes into the dusk and returns with iron. The Xiongnu raiders come with the wind at their backs, hooves swallowed by the dunes until they are already upon the caravan. Bronze blades catch the dying light. The escort, 12 men hardened by 1,000 li of road, falls within moments, overwhelmed by numbers, by treachery, by the cold arithmetic of betrayal. Chen Bao fights with bare hands when his sword is gone, silk bales burning around him, jade scattered like broken promises across the blood-darkened earth. He is taken alive. The raiders have orders. Someone, somewhere, wants the emperor's envoy breathing, and that single terrible fact suggests the worst is only beginning. Inside the Chanyu's great felt tent, the air hangs thick with mutton fat and smoke from a dung fire that never dies. Chen Bao kneels on wolf-skin rugs before the most powerful man on the steppe, a man who controls 1,000 miles of wind and death. The Chanyu speaks through Mao Liang, the traitor whose voice now carries the weight of Chen's fate. Offers are made. Comfortable quarters, warm food, survival. Chen's face betrays nothing. The courtly mask holding, iron beneath silk. His fingers, pressed flat against his thighs, feel the faint pressure of the folded edicts bound against his ankle. Each measured word he speaks is a calculated delay, a wall built from ceremony and protocol. The letters remain hidden, But the Xiongnu's eyes are ancient and patience on the steppe has always outlasted everything. 3 days without water, 3 days without fire. The Taklamakan has taken stronger men than Chen Bao and left nothing but bleached silence. When the herdsman's daughter finds him, he is face down in the alkaline dust, the emperor's sealed edicts still pressed against his chest beneath layers of filth and dried blood. The family asks no questions. They cannot. There are no shared words between them. Only the ancient grammar of suffering and response. Fermented mare's milk touches his cracked lips. Rough wool blankets, smelling of lanolin and smoke, are laid across his shaking frame. A child watches him with enormous, curious eyes. Chen Bao, emissary of the Son of Heaven, weeps without shame. Mercy, it seems, requires no interpreter. But the steppe is vast, the Yuezhi still unreached, and someone, somewhere, is still hunting him. He has walked out of the desert like a ghost, sandals worn to nothing, robes reduced to salt-stained rags, the imperial seals still pressed against his chest beneath layers of wound cloth. The Yuezhi court receives him in silence. Braziers of fragrant juniper smoke curl toward painted rafters. Woven tapestries of brilliant crimson and gold line the great hall, and the king sits elevated, draped in furs, his expression unreadable as carved jade. Chen Bao kneels and unfolds the emperor's edict, its silk unmarked, impossibly preserved. Around him, courtiers murmur. A solitary man, no escort, no tribute train, no proof of imperial power beyond words on cloth. The king leans forward, studying not the document, but the man who carried it. What Chen says next will determine whether empires align or whether he has crossed a world for nothing. For 3 days the tent fills with the smell of mare's milk and burning dung, yet within it, Chen Bao wages a campaign as precise and relentless as any army. He unrolls silk maps with careful hands, traces the ghost of Zhang Qian's footsteps across them like a benediction. He speaks of shared humiliation, the Yuezhi's stolen homeland, the Xiongnu's long shadow, weaving grief into strategy with the patience of a master calligrapher. He sets jade pieces on the earthen floor, each one a promise, each one a word the emperor himself has authorized. History becomes his weapon. Memory becomes leverage. The king's expression shifts by degrees, like stone worn slowly by water. By the 3rd evening, something unspoken changes in the air between them. And tomorrow, Chen Bao will learn whether words alone can move an empire to act. After months of silence and suffering, the hall of the Yuezhi king fills with the smell of cedar smoke and distant possibility. Bolts of Han silk, luminous, almost liquid in the torchlight, are laid before a ruler who has learned to measure trust in very small amounts. Chen Bao kneels over stretched parchment, his inkbrush steady despite hands cracked by desert winds and Xiongnu rope. Every character he presses into the page carries the full weight of an empire that cannot know, yet whether he still lives. The seals are pressed, the jade changes hands. 2 civilizations exhale briefly together. It is a fragile thing, this alliance, stitched from desperation and silk and one man's refusal to surrender his emperor's words. But the ink is dry now, and Chen Bao must carry it home. He crosses the Jade Gate at dusk, alone. Where 40 men once rode in gleaming procession, bearing silk bales and the weight of imperial ambition, there is now only one figure, dust-gray and gaunt, clutching a leather satchel against his chest as though it contains his own heartbeat. And perhaps it does. Inside, the treaty, the alliance, the proof of treachery. Everything the emperor demanded, purchased at a price no court accountant will ever record. Chang'an receives him without fanfare. Officials glance, note his arrival, and return to fresher urgencies. A junior clerk accepts his documents with ink-stained fingers. The seals are broken quietly in a lamplit chamber. Chen Bao stands in the corridor outside, listening to nothing. The alliance he bled for will reshape Han's strategy entirely. But first, Emperor Wu must decide what to do about the Xiongnu's unexpected counter-move in the north.